Welcome everybody to another episode of ESC Fan TV. Delighted to introduce you to my panel from all over Europe tonight as we talk about the wonders that is Estonia. This is Eesti Laul's quarter-final three. With me tonight, I'm delighted to welcome all the way from London, sometimes Spain, it's Tristan White from the Love Your London show. Hey Tristan. He's just waving, he's on mute. We'll come to you in a minute, Tristan. All the way from Stockholm in Sweden, it's Gustav.
Hi all. I have a really bad hair day today, but I'm excited to be here.
It's good to have you. From Belgium, we welcome Elina.
Hello.
From the Let Me Be The One blog and podcasts, it's Martin Palmer.
Hello everyone, looking forward to a good show.
And last but not least, all the way from parts unknown, we welcome Phil and Michelle.
Hello.
And they really are parts unknown because that is a real fireplace behind them and it is absolutely not their house.
No.
We're on holidays.
And tonight we're all talking about Estonia. I'm sure probably everyone actually, in fact, that's in the chat room, watched last night's Eesti Laul quarter-final three, where another 10 songs, 30 we've had so far, 10 more last night, competed to win places via the televote and also the jury. 5 went through, 5 went out. That's right, which means we've only got another 10 songs to cover after tonight. It's gone really quickly, actually, hasn't it? It really has. You can tell from the look on the panel, they've loved every minute of it. So tonight, we're going to take you through those 10. We're going to start with the bottom 5. No, they really have. And for those of you in the chat room, please do click the like button. And for those of you watching on Facebook, do head over to YouTube because that's where all the magic happens in the chat room over there. But if you are watching on Facebook, if you are watching on Twitter, or wherever else you are watching, because we are live across multiple places, do give us a like, subscribe if you do head over to YouTube, or follow us on social media. We're going to get the show underway. Here are the bottom 5. It's right, they went out. So there were your 5 that didn't qualify last night. We start off with deLuLu. Great to have deLuLu back in Eurovision with the song "Music Saved My Soul." If you probably did recognise a certain singer in that video, it was Inga, who competed in Eesti Laul back in 2019 and came 5th in the final. Then we had Goodreason with 3 Days Ago, electro pop band. Then we had Lauri, Pihlap with "Take Me Home," Levvis with the absolute bop that is "Let's Talk About," and Shira with "Underwater." Let's go to my panel and find out what they thought of the 5 last night. We're going to start with Martin. Martin, this certainly felt like we had cranked up the notch somewhat on the old fireplace to, and I'm not talking about Phil and Michelle's fireplace when I say that, I'm talking about the Estonian Eesti Laul fireplace. This felt hotter than in last week's show that we reviewed. What did you make of these 5? And should any of these 5 have qualified for you?
Yeah, I think the whole quarterfinal was quite strong. I think the really good ones were going to be, we'll go to them later, and I think they were going to qualify anyway. But yeah, these were not bad. I mean, like we had deLuLu, we had Inga, and it was a nice solo performance, but it's so chilled. I think that you'd want to be listening to it like now in your own room, home, and it didn't really have any impact. And I think that's probably why that didn't get through. I like Goodreason. I thought it was a bit comical when they were interviewing the band, and you had the female lead singer who seemed to be about 6'5", and then they had sort of like going down in a, height wise. But yeah, that was quite good. I liked that, but they had a sort of slow bit to start, ballad wise, and then sort of poppy bit at the end. I think if the pop bit had been all the way through, I think that would have probably qualified. But yeah, a good debut entry for them. Then you had Lauri, who's been, obviously he was part of 2XL when they won in Estonia in 2001, and he's been at Eesti Laul and other things previously. Bit repetitive, and I think that was probably the weakest of all of them last night. And then Levvis, that was interesting. I like that. There was good video, and quite engaging, quite contemporary. But yeah, I don't know. I can see possibly why it didn't go in, because I think apart from Sahlene is the only one who didn't speak any Estonian. So I can imagine that maybe Estonians were going to vote for their own, if anything else. And then Shira, who, she had a really good thing previously at Eesti Laul with Space, and I really enjoyed that. Underwater, a bit dark, but a bit Amy Winehouse. And yeah, interesting video, but I think the fact that it was so dark probably put her out. So in a way, I'm not surprised the 5 who we've just played were the 5 that didn't get through, for me anyway.
Thanks, Martin. Let's go to Gustav. Gustav, Underwater by Shira. She's quite popular in Estonia. She's got an LP coming out very shortly. Was it a surprise, as it has been mooted on social media, that this was one of the ones that failed to make it last year? And I'm also thinking, this is the type of genre that you usually enjoy. Forgive me if that's not the case. I'm sure it is. Are you surprised that we didn't see Shira in the semi-finals last night?
No, not really. I mean, we heard it like a minute ago, and I can't remember a thing of it right now. So you are right. It should be a song that I should enjoy it, but it just leaves me totally cold, and I'm struggling to come up with things to say about it because I can't remember it.
Thank you, Gustav. Out of those 5, were there any there that you felt, actually, I think this should have qualified? This is absolutely the sort of thing I would listen to after the quarterfinal.
I mean, no, not really. I'm pretty happy with the songs that went through, but that Take Me Home guy can take me home for sure.
Well, he's definitely putting it out there, isn't he? I mean, he mentions it at least 5 times in just the clip that we saw. Elina, which of these 5 do you think deserved to get a place in the semi-final, and which of them are you absolutely glad to say goodbye to?
I think the Let's Talk About was definitely no. And I actually like the song. Wait, let me check my notes because of the names. The Shira song. So last year I had the song to do the dishes. Now I have a song to do the cooking. So I really like that song while I was cooking. So that should have gone through. I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it, but they made good choices. So.
Thank you, Elina. Someone who is a big fan of Levvis, and let's talk about is my man on the bottom right-hand corner, Tristan. Tristan, come in, Tristan. Tell us why you think this should have qualified. And we were in a Facebook chat group together, and last night you made the very bold prediction that had this have gone through, it could have won Eurovision. Tell me why.
It could have. It is just the sexiest song, I think, that there's been at Eurovision in years. I mean, it was the sexiest, probably Love Injected by Latvia a few years ago. It just made you wanted. Or Hertz was also very sexy from Latvia. This was in that sort of category. It was dancey, had a really dirty bass, It just made you want to dance, and it was so sexy. And you know, as a non-gay man, I just felt that it was just like it talked to me, even though it was like a very gay song, a gay anthem. It was absolutely beautiful. It was just, I just wanted to be there and just dance with him. It was just so sexy. I hope that makes sense.
Something tells me this is not the last time we're going to hear that in a Eurovision arena. I kind of feel like this is going to get played in Euroclub in Rome. It almost feels inevitable to me.
Oh,
which other ones did you like, Tris?
It's fantastic. I can understand. I like them all, to be honest. I like them all. It was. I think the right decisions, apart from Levvis, I think the right decision was made. But I mean, I thought Shira was also really, really sexy as well. They had a very sort of like that, you know, I want to hold you underwater. It was sultry, jazzy. It reminded me of Maria, and also a bit of Hooverphonic as well. It was just great. deLuLu I thought was great as well. I think deLuLu's song could have done with a little bit more sort of trip hoppy beats in the background. If it had more of a bass and more of a drive, sort of like it would have been a lot better. But apart from that, no, I mean they were all good. I mean, I've got nothing negative to say about any of them. They all could have, they all would have made the Saturday night final, I think, in Turin. But I think that Levvis would have actually gone on and won the whole thing.
Wow, what a bold statement to make, Tris. But thank you very much for your comments. Phil and Michelle, we're going to take you back to Lauri Pihlap and the song Take Me Home. Some may not be aware that good old Lauri was actually no stranger to Eurovision. So we cast our mind back to a year that when Estonia actually won the thing back in 2000, he was actually a backing dancer. He was in the 2XL group, which won Eurovision with Tanel Padar and Dave Benton's Everybody back in 2001. Tell us about these five. Should there have been any qualifiers? And did we miss out on any absolutely fantastic entries? And have we lost an opportunity to see some fantastic songs live in a semi-final?
Well, I quite like Levvis as well, to be honest. It was, I don't know, it was the campest thing ever, but
it was
fun.
it was a good bit of 80s, which I remember because I was born then. So I loved it. It was all a bit George Michael, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's it called? I don't know.
Yeah. I Want Your Sex.
I Want Your Sex. Yeah. It's a blatant rip-off of that, but we don't mind.
Yeah. No, it was fun. Good reason I quite liked as well. Although I was concerned that the drummer had nipped off for a cigarette at the start of the video because there was just an empty drum kit, and it turned out it was the keyboard player who had to moonlight as the drummer. So maybe they just need a couple more band members, bass player as well.
Maybe he nipped off for a wee when they did the video, and it was too late.
No, it was a keyboard player. He picked up some drumsticks and then nipped around.
Wow. I didn't mind that, but I think I agree with Martin that if it had kicked in earlier on and all the way through, it'd have been better. It just dragged on too long before you got to the meaty bit. Yeah,
I didn't really get the deLuLu thing. It sounded like she was singing a completely different song to what was being played in the background today.
I instantly didn't like the weird off jazz thing. I thought that was just absolute shite.
And the Shira, like Martin, I sort of thought it was a bit Amy Winehouse, but not quite as good.
See, I like the melody and the tone of it, but she didn't enunciate very well. She sounds like me when I've finished a bottle of wine, just dribbling on, and you don't know what she's saying. I think it'd have been better if she was clearer. Is that all of them?
I think we could. Yeah,
there you go. But Lauri. Lauri. Oh, I wasn't sure if I loved it or if I hated it, and I'm still not sure now. But I'll let you know when I make my mind up.
I think he just needed a bit more oomph in the backing track.
It was the way he turned into Eric Sard halfway through that put me off.
Yeah.
And he was quite old as well. And I'm married to an old man. I don't want to see it on telly.
I was quite surprised that Elina didn't pick up on that, given her and Jeanette's absolute obsession with the boy Sahlene.
I mean, that version was like, I don't know if you know the expression, this was like the Aldi version of Eric Sade. You can go cheaper and better than no. It was no.
Maybe it's the evolution of the Eric Sade. Maybe we're taking a kind of a look into the future. This is what we're going to see in maybe 5 to 10 years' time.
I mean,
maybe.
If it's all just Eric Sade being Eric Sade, that's perfection. But we don't want all the versions. No.
Well, thank you, panel. There are your 5. I think in general we're saying that there's maybe 1 or 2 there that that could maybe have scrapped through. But I'm going to give Tristan, just come back on a few points there. Was there any songs in there that could have qualified if they were in last week's semi-final? Quarter-final?
I would say, obviously Levvis has to. I fell in love with him. I think when I was explaining before, probably I got a bit mashed up. What I really meant to say is, I was seduced by him. I thought he was so sexy. I thought the music was so sexy. And even though what I was trying to say is that even though I'm not a gay person, he seduced me, and I just wanted to make love to him and to his music. That's what I was trying to say, and it came across a bit mashed and muddled. But yeah, it was absolutely beautiful song.
I totally understood, Tristan. I got it. He's 100% your top. Anyway, moving on to the qualifiers of this week. We're going to start with the televotes. We're going to start with Stefan, who we've seen many times in Eesti Laul. This is a song, Hope. Did I have you tapping your feet there? It certainly had me tapping mine. Stefan, no stranger to Eesti Laul. We've seen him in 2019. We've seen him in 2020. We even saw him in 2018 as part of a boy band. And he's done so well in Eesti Laul. He's come so close to getting through and representing Estonia. This is a real departure, however, from what you come to expect from Stefan, and almost felt a bit Wayland. Netherlands 2018 for me. Let's see what the panel felt about this particular entry. And Anya's already come in with it's her favourite. And oh look, Elliot's disagreeing. Dire, annoying, generic country twang. ESC Manga says Stefan's song was the best. I think we've exhausted our comments. Keep those comments coming through, guys. We've got over 300 of you watching live around the universe. Keep your comments coming in. Let's go to Elina first. Elina, I love this. And mind you, I've got a bit of obsession with Stefan. I think he's a great singer and he probably deserves it at some point. Did you like this? And could this be an outside contender for Estonia this year?
Well, I actually forgot to watch it. And thanks to the little bits during the show, I've seen it now. And so far, I really like it. And I feel bad that I forgot to watch it.
It's a really good song. They've obviously spent a lot of money on that video. Let's go to Martin. Martin, at some point, Stefan's going to make it through for Estonia. Surely. It feels inevitable. He's got everything going for him. He's a good-looking guy. He's got great vocal. Now they're throwing money at him. That video was shot in Spain, by the way, and it's really epic. I advise you to go and watch it. Not that I'm trying to push you or promote it in any way, shape, or form, but Martin, is this a potential contender?
Yeah, it obviously, seeing that all the quarterfinals are effectively video contests, this is amazing. This would have been a great bit of footage from a Western movie, and it's obvious they spent money on it. And he's been so close. He's been in the super final a couple of times at least, I think. And the music's great. He's got a great voice. He's great. He's superb live. So I would think that he's got a really good chance this year with this song, which is a really good song as well, of making it through potentially to representing Estonia in Turin, but we'll have to wait and see what comes up in quarterfinal 4. But he's up there with any of the songs we've heard so far from the first 3 quarterfinals.
Thanks, Martin. Gustav, talking of being up there, Stefan, is he up there for you?
Yes, he is. I am a sucker for a little bit of country twang, as Elliot said, but he said it in a bad way. Yes, I really like this song. It's super catchy. It's so much fun, and I'm always up for a guy looking like a cowboy.
Fellow Michelle, how the heck is he going to stage this? We get to see this live in February in the semi-finals. This is going to be one I'm going to look forward to.
He's going to be in a sandpit on a wooden horse. Oh, God, this was drivel. It's like it was spaghetti western, but it wasn't even a theme tune to a spaghetti western. It's the middle bit where they're just meandering along, going somewhere. Didn't like it.
See, I didn't mind it. I mean, as you said, they've obviously spent a fistful of dollars on the video.
Oh,
but no, it was okay. It was a bit different. I don't know if it was different enough to stand out, but it was all right. As you say, though, you can't do the spaghetti western thing live. So how is he going to stage it? That's the question. Yeah.
Sandpit, cowboy hat and chaps.
I think it's going to be interesting. I can't imagine a scenario where he's got a couple of backing dancers. I don't know, but I kind of visualize it. Goes a bit dark then when I start to visualize it. We're going to see. We're going to find out very soon.
My wallet.
And Tristan, come to you.
Yes.
This feels very Wayland for me. Wayland didn't do particularly well at Eurovision. If this were to qualify, Stefan do better?
I mean, I think of all the country and western songs we've had over the years, whether it's Wayland or Doofy Bob or anyone, I think this is my favourite. I'm not a big country and western fan, but this is just it's a nice song. It's a shame his English is really hard to understand. I mean, I don't know if it was quite hard to follow. I had to read the lyrics in order to really hear what he was saying because it's slightly muffled. So maybe it'd be good to have some lyrics on the background or whatever on the screen. I thought it was a really lovely song. I've actually been to the exact place where it was filmed in Almeria. I recognised it. I thought, oh, I know where that place. I checked it up, and it was. I think it could do well. Obviously, it will do well maybe at Eurovision because it'll get like the Armenian vote as well because Stefan's part Armenian. The only thing I would change is there's that bit that repeats a hope towards the end, and it just sounds really weird because it's a strange thing to say a hope like in that way. And I just thought maybe if there could be some changes to the lyrics, it might be improved. But I could see it doing pretty well. I could see it making top 10 even.
Well, we're going to find out very soon. But that is our first direct qualifier via the tally vote. Our second direct qualifier is someone that we've seen a few times before. So, of course, that's Anna Sahlene, famous for being Michael Rice's backing singer in 2019. I'm joking, people. I'm joking. Keep your hair on. Of course, Anna Sahlene is very famous. She is the 2002 entrant for Estonia, who came so close to winning it, probably should have, with the song Runaway. Has also appeared in Melodifestivalen, because she is Swedish, a number of times back in 2003, 2006, and 2009. Probably what a lot of people don't know, she was also the backing singer for Dammy In 2016. There you go, a little bit of trivia for you. It's great to see Sahlene back. I have to say, she's a fantastic singer, and it's really good to see her fronting a song. Gustav, must come to you first. As a fellow Swede, in this instance, isn't it great to see Sahlene back in Estonia where it all began for her?
I think it's fantastic. I really enjoy her singing, and I am glad to see her doing Eurovision stuff again because she really loves Eurovision, and yeah, I am just happy for her. And the song is super cheesy, and I absolutely love it.
I think it's a good song. It's very Scandi pop. Phil and Michelle, let's come to you. This feels to me like it wouldn't be out of place in any Scandinavian national selection over the course of 2022. Was it ticking the boxes for you?
It was all right. I mean, I would agree, you know, it sounds like it wouldn't be out of place. But at the same time, it's sort of a bit Eurovision by numbers for me. You know, it was a bit of a Eurovision-y, typical Eurovision bop. A woman singing about "I am strong," you know, "I'm a warrior." It just sounded like a bit too formulaic for my taste. It didn't really stand out.
Yeah, we've heard it all before. I did like the Mr. T necklace that she was wearing though. I think that'll come across well on stage. I didn't mind it, but then she said, how many times? Someone needs to count how many times she says the word champion, because
a lot.
It was too many times, and we all know that's cheating. That's the equivalent of just going la 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 for a minute.
It worked for Spain back in the day, Michelle. It worked for Spain.
Well, we all know why. That was just plain cheating. But it's just, just don't say the word so many times. Just over and over again. And
let's go to Tristan. Tristan, I know this will divide opinion, I think, because there'll be those that say this is great. It's great to have Scandi pop in an Estonian national selection. There'll be others that say this is very Scandi pop by numbers. But regardless of that, Sahlene has the most amazing vocal and will deliver this on stage in the semi-finals, won't she?
Yes, it will. I mean, it's a sort of thing that will do well. It's certainly qualify if it were to be in Turin. It's not my favourite, but I mean, none of them. I didn't dislike any of the songs, so this was actually my bottom of the 10. But it still was like better than probably most of the songs that we've had so far. I just found the lyrics a bit cliche, like people said, you know, warriors and stuff like that. I'm a warrior, I'm a champion. We've heard that from so many songs recently, whether it's Malta or there's always. I mean, even one year there were 2 songs called Warrior, weren't there? It's just sort of just a bit cliche. Whereas I think Estonia, we like to see innovation and diversity and difference and excitement, which I don't get from this.
But it's not to everybody's taste, I guess. And it does feel like, you know, when you hear the Melody Festival and songs played on a Saturday night for the first time, or you hear the snippets early in the day, I think back to last year, and I got a similar feeling for Jessica Anderson's song last year. And please help me out, I've forgotten the name of it. Can you remember, Gustav? What was the name of Jessica Anderson's song in 2021? Oh, God, no one can remember. Horizon. Thank you very much. I got the same kind of feeling. It feels like something you've heard before. You get a warm feeling, but perhaps aren't that excited by it. That's sort of how I feel about this. Elina, you are excited by this.
I am. I am. First of all, I love the screenplay. Can we just take a moment to adore the screenplay and how amazing it was? And secondly, I can see her in a gold dress on a stage singing too much the word champion. And I mean, it's nice. And also it reminds me a bit of Johnny Logan. At one show, I said that he licked his lips like a lot of times during the Eurovision that he won in Belgium. It reminds me of that. I want to count competition with the word champion with her song. So yeah, but it's amazing. I love it.
Thank you, Elina. And finally, Martin, huge fan of Anna Sahlene. Is this a potential contender? Because I think we all know that she'll knock this out of the park in the lives. Can we potentially see this as Estonia's entry?
Personally, I don't think so. I think it's almost certainly going to get through the semi-finals, and it'll be in the final because she's a great singer. She's got the backing of the 2 ladies who seem to be with Estonia's every entry for the last 10 years, Dagmar and Kari, who were together. I can't remember the name of their band last year. And yeah, it was a great video. So it served its purpose last night. That, you know, it was really watchable. very memorable. She's got a great voice. So, yeah, I think she's going to go through to the final. But I don't think this is going to be the one that's going to win it in Estonia. But, yeah, I mean, as people said, it does sound as though it's dropped out of Melody Festival. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially with some of the songs that we've heard in the other quarterfinals.
And I can't pronounce the name of the duo that you're trying to refer to, but the song was an absolute belter. It was Heaven's Not That Far Tonight was the song that you are thinking of, which made my top 30 in the national finals last year, by the way. Thank you to the panel. That was Anna Sahlene. And as a special surprise, joining us for the next song is my co-host, Tom. This is another returnee. This is Elina Nechayeva with Remedy.
Wherever we go, we can find our way home to holy place where love is for us. Healed up with love, where we belong. Can't come back to
I don't think many were expecting to see Elina come back with a ballad of this quality in this style, but it's written by the legendary Sven Lomas, who's written songs like Rockefeller Street in 2011 for Estonia, Verona in 2017, and I can never pronounce this, Randanyard in 2009 by Irvine Symphony. Tom, good to see you.
Hey, Stu, you all right?
Good to see you. Let's start with Remedy. She's back. Elena's back. Last time we saw her was at Eurovision in 2018. She didn't do too badly. She came 8th.
She did really well, didn't she? Unfortunately, I don't think this one's gonna make it, is it? I like the song. I think it's unusual, nice ballad and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe it's me that I think she's so synonymous with the style of song that she delivered 3 years ago now, that I think that this one just it didn't quite hit the mark for me. Maybe it's a grower.
It hits the mark for me. And there's a bit at the end where she goes into that operatic piece, which is a great ending to a song. Martin, for me, I would say she's the outstanding favourite to win this so far, with another 10 to go. How does she sit for you? Because what we do know is she's another one that will absolutely destroy this live. This will be phenomenal on stage. She will kill it. Can this go and be the representative for Estonia in 2022?
Well, it's possible. I mean, for last night's show with the video, I mean, killed it again. Beautiful. David Attenborough would have been proud with the cinematography. And yeah, great vocal. She's always going to be perfect singing. Not a problem. It's just whether the public in Estonia can get past the fact that she was singing opera, because she is obviously trained for that. But great voice, nice ballad. It's whether that's going to be enough to actually win a competition like Eesti Laul. It's up there. It will be definitely in the final, and it could well be in the super final. So who knows? It's possible. She's very confident. She always comes across well on TV as well. So yeah, it's a possibility. I would say no more than that.
Can we have a conversation about staging? I can just visualize something out of the film Frozen here. But then, Michelle, I know let's come to you about staging, because you love a question about staging. Is this going to be absolutely stunning on stage, or what?
Well, I'm pretty sure that they could borrow Stefan sandpit.
Yeah, there was another desert video, wasn't it?
Yeah, the desert.
I don't know. I mean, I just thought this didn't really go anywhere. It looked like it needed to build up to something, and it never did.
I thought it was going to be one of those haunting classics, that builds and builds and it drags you in, and it didn't now.
But yeah, I have no idea how you stage this.
She's just going to sit in a sandpit, going like that with Sam's. We're all for the sandpit.
I can tell. I'm surprised there's not enough love for this, actually. Let's go. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to my friend Gustav in Centre Square. Gustav, you love a ballad. For me, this is the best ballad I've heard so far in Estonia. But that's not saying much, because we've only heard about 30 songs in total in the Eurovision 2022 yet. But it's stunning. She's stunning. This could be stunning on stage. What are your take?
This is perfection. I absolutely love it. It's brilliant, and it's miles and miles and miles ahead of everything else in Eesti Laul so far. It's just so good. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's perfect.
Thank you, Gustav. Tristan, could we see Elina return to Eurovision, do you think, in 2022?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's my of all of them. When I saw it live, I thought, wow, that's got to win. Then obviously, 2 songs later, I saw Levvis, and I thought that has to win. Levvis is knocked out, so for me, this is the winner. So far, of all the songs that have got through, it's the best one. Absolutely love it. Love the chord progression. You can understand every single word she says, unlike Stefan, who's just like so clear. And that makes a difference, because you want to be able to understand the lyrics, and they're actually really good lyrics, even though she's also saying sort of like lots of very similar things, sort of like, you know, like you make me strong, and we're our survivors and all that sort of stuff. So it's also empowering stuff like being a warrior and whatever. But unlike Sahlene's song, which was a bit cliche, this is just original, and this could be in the charts in any country.
I think it's stunning. I agree with you, Tristan. Thank you for your comments. And finally, Elina, you've dropped some comments in the chat about staging, etc. Do you want to just give us a bit of a clue as to what you were writing about?
I'm sorry. I wrote Gustav's name wrong. Sorry, Gustav. I love you.
She's not there, is she? Let me just read put it back on the screen, please, Tom. Thank you very much. Staging either a dress flying in the wind or a growing dress. I think we might see something quite similar to what we saw in Eurovision in 2018, or maybe in the national final, which wasn't quite as elegant, but it was still a fantastic dress. Or something from the scene of Frozen, something like that. It's going to be glamorous, it's going to be stunning, it's going to be sparkly, it's going to be wonderful. That's Elina. Hopefully you agree with the panel, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you thought the panel were talking rubbish. That's fine too. This is the next 2 songs which were saved by the jury. We're going to start with the song "Move On." This feels very 90s Britpop to me. Let's find out what the panel... quickly, Michelle, your fire's running out. Gustav, what did you make of Alabama Watchdog?
Next. No, I really don't like it. It's so repetitive, and it's... No, I have nothing nice to say, so I'm just going to be quiet.
You're going to say next. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a redemption song. I don't know whether anyone was aware, but in Eesti Laul last year, they came out with some rather naughty comments, which they try to reflect in the song with lyrics like, "Don't stop breaking the truth. You've got to move on. Every now and then I try to push it away." It's referring to their slight controversy the previous year. Martin, this is very different to everything else that's qualified from Estonia so far. Could this stand out?
Well, it will stand out purely because it's a band and the performance of a band. And there was a good video because they had everything fairly basic when you consider that Stefan and Elina had gone so mad with their sort of massive scenery. And theirs was just like the very basic sort of triangular graphics behind them just feeding back. And yeah, I thought it was a bit Franz Ferdinand, sort of memorable though, catchy. Yeah, so I'm not surprised that it went through. I don't think it will trouble the final, to be quite honest with you. It might be in the final, but it won't be trouble in the super final. But hey, we could really annoy all the Eurovision fans by having, as some people saying, "Oh no, we're going to have 42 rock and pop songs, bands." That would really annoy everyone, wouldn't it? But it won't be Alabama Watchdog.
Well, we've got one already. Bulgaria were announced their song in the last 24 hours, and people have already put it as their 41st already, which is very harsh. And no, people, we are not going to get 41 rock songs. It's absolutely not going to be the case. Alabama Watchdog. I tell you who this might be right for. I reckon Phil and Michelle would love this. Let's go to them. Move on. Phil and Michelle, is this one for you?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. Oh.
It's nice to get something rocky that's not sounding like it's from the 80s.
Well, from the 80s, I remember that because I was born then.
But yeah, it was a good meaty sounding rock song. It sounded sort of contemporary, up to date. I did notice that all the background was pink and blue, which was a bit like
the 80s.
Well, it was a bit like last year in Rotterdam, wasn't it? Everyone had pink and blue background.
They always cover stuff like that. It was a good stadium sound, a good meaty. You know, you could imagine it in a stadium playing, and it wouldn't get lost.
Yeah.
So I think on a big Eurovision stage, it would be all right. It'd stand out.
Yeah, I mean, we seem to get at least one rock song every quarter final so far, and this is the best of the three.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound anything like Maneskin, because we're just going to get a load of Maneskin copies. But this is nothing like it. I think it sounded a bit sort of Killers sort of thing. Yeah. I loved it.
Thank you, Phil and Michelle. Tristan, did you love it too? Yep,
I did. Yeah, I think it was my third place song, just underneath Elina. It was great. As Martin said, very Franz Ferdinand. I thought the music was good. It was a good song. Loved the video. I noticed in the video the drummer goes upside down. Now, obviously, that's just with the special effects, but we've had that before in Eesti Laul, where drummers performed upside down back in 2013 with Winnie Pooh. So you never know. Maybe they'll take a leaf out of that book and do the same. It worked. It almost worked for them. Got them to the super final at least. But yeah, it was good. It was good fun. I'm glad that it's not a controversial song like last year. Yeah.
I don't know whether to go to Elina now based on what she's just written. To me, though, the actual staging of it looked like they'd taken the set from the 1988 Eurovision Song Contest. Exactly looked like the staging there. Elina, you love rock, so I'm pretty surprised this one didn't float your boat.
Like I said in the comments, I was not drunk enough for that one. But I'm getting there tonight.
Well, I think it's a good song. Tom, round this one off. Alabama Watchdog, Move On.
Oh, I liked it. Let's face it. Do you know what it put me in mind of? It was a bit like a souped-up version of the indie rock you got on the American Pie films of like 1999, 2001 type thing. And I love those films, and I've got a soft spot for that type of music. Yeah, loved it.
And before we do the last song, thanks to everyone in the chat room. Thank you. Keep your comments coming through, and make sure you like today's show. And if you haven't already, and you like hearing us talk bollocks for the best part of an hour, click the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Right, final song of the evening. This one came out of nowhere. This is Merilin. Merilin came third in Estonian Idol back in 2018 and tried to represent Estonia back in 2020. Didn't work. She didn't manage to get out of the semi-finals. However, this is a good, understated little pop song, let me tell you, people. I think there's a lot going for this. If she can pull it off on the stage, this could go places. I think it's wonderful. Let's start with Elina. Let's go to Elina. Elina, hopefully you've got some great things to say about this one.
Well, I also forgot to review that one, so I also heard it like just. I'm sorry, I'm a bad panelist. The show, but wow, how amazing is that? I only heard it for like maybe 2 seconds, but it's amazing. That one has to win. I love it.
It's really, really good, actually. Let's go to Phil and Michelle. This is again maybe a bit Scandi pop, but I think it's Scandi pop with a difference, bit of an edge. It starts quite slow. It builds and builds and builds. It becomes big and belty in the chorus line. I love it. What are your thoughts?
I'm waiting for the remix, the dance remix, because this, quite frankly, was bland.
It was all right. It was nothing too special. It was one of those songs that you think they could have done a little bit more with it. It did build.
Hence the
and it was
remix.
good. Yeah. But no, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, right.
I know it's a surprise.
Carry
but it
on
does
then.
happen sometimes.
Carry on then.
But yeah, it was okay. I don't know if it'd stand out, but with a bit, see what it's like live. If they can, you know,
It needs
give it a bit more.
it needs a remix
Yeah.
to have a bit of a kick to it. It's just, it is beige.
I won't go that far, but it was all right. But
It's rubbish.
Well, let's see how it does in the semi-finals. Tristan, can this be elevated with the right staging, do you think?
Oh, easily. It's another fantastic song. Again, it started very slowly, and then it just builds up. And then when she turns to the camera, and it's sort of like, it starts off quite sort of like a weak sort of sound to her voice, and then suddenly she just like turns it up a notch, and it becomes really feisty. And it's a great song, and it's a beautifully produced song. If you listen to them all on headphones, that one sort of stands out with the production value. I just thought it's absolutely brilliant, and you just really sort of feel that you understand what she's saying, and it's a great tune. Another one that could be in any charts in any country. It's just people would pick up the phone for that, I think.
I think they could. Gustav, it feels like something you might hear at Melfest, actually. I really like this. I think it's a real classic pop song, and I think with the right staging, this can do really, really well. What are your thoughts?
I don't want to like this, but I really, really do like it. However, it's almost a little bit too fast at some points for me. I'm like, okay, now I just want to breathe, and it's not letting me breathe. But except that, it's actually quite a good song.
Thank you. And Martin, Gustav is right. It's fast and furious. But that can blow you away on a live stage. As someone who's a huge Eesti Laul fan, and we saw Merilin back in 2020, how do you think she can take this song to the stage in the semi-finals?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always a bit weird with Eesti Laul because they're not great ones for having intricate staging. And, you know, if you remember, anyone who remembered last year, it was really, really basic and there was hardly anything to it. So if you're really hoping for sort of bells and whistles, you weren't going to get them. And I don't, you know, but it's a decent pop ballad. The lyrics and really fit with her, and she's really enthusiastic and pleased to be doing what she's doing, because the show that when we found out who was in the quarterfinal, Ringvard, back on Monday just gone, she was delighted. She was being interviewed on the street and she was delighted, and it was obvious she was delighted to just be talking to anybody there. So I think whatever we get, she's going to enjoy it. I must admit, I think this might be one of the ones that might get knocked out in the semi-final, but you know, it will all depend on the staging, because I think there's a lot of big names that have come to Eesti Laul this year, and she's not one of them.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is a very star-studded semi-final, quarterfinal. It's weird having quarterfinals then semi-finals, isn't it? I've got to get your head around of that. The weird thing about this, I think, is that this is a really good song in a really strong quarterfinal. Why didn't they just take some of these songs and plonk them in last week? Can't get my head around that one. Tom, could this have qualified for, if this was, let me start that again. That made no sense whatsoever. Is this the type of song that could qualify from the semi-finals based on what we've heard so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing is, I mean, if she gets the staging right on this one, it's going to be a strong contender. People reckon that it's come from nowhere and it's been saved by the juries, but let's face it, this was a very strong quarterfinal anyway. I nearly said semi-final, but they seem to be doing everything in Estonia this year. It was a very, very strong quarterfinal, and in any other week, I suspect she probably would have qualified without any help from the juries anyway. And I think if staged right and performed right, she has a real chance of making a really good impact in those semi-finals come February. And I think it is exactly the type of song that could end up going close in Estonia this year.
Thank you, Tom. Well, there were the 10 songs. you've now seen 15 songs which will progress to the semi-finals. I think that the question I have for my panel is, what do we want next week? What are we missing from Estonia? And also, who were their absolute favourite? Who was their tops in the quarterfinal number 3? Let's start with Tristan. I think I know the answer to this. He's probably going to say Levvis, but let's ask him anyway. Tristan, who was your top of this week, and what are you expecting, or what do you want next week?
Obviously, as you've guessed, Levvis was my favourite Estonian song probably in years. As for next week, well, I really love, I loved Tartu, Red El Tartu last year, and obviously because of the Winnie Pooh connection. It would be fantastic to see something like that come back again. I mean, it won't win, but it's just they always just pull out all the stops on stage. So great to see Tartu or Winnie Pooh or whatever come back, do something quite zany and crazy on stage.
Thank you, Tristan. Let's go to Phil and Michelle. Phil and Michelle, who are your favourites this week, and what do you want to see next?
I think my favourite was Alabama Watchdog.
Yeah, and it was mine. I agree with Phil.
I know. Levvis was quite good. Shame that didn't get through.
I can't. No, and there was another one as well. I can't quite recall his name at the minute.
Lauri Pihlap.
Oh yeah,
that was the one. But yeah, next week I just want to see something.
I want to see something outrageous and bonkers.
Yeah, something a little bit off the wall, different.
Yeah, like an X-rated Jedward. That's what we want to see.
An X-rated Jedward. That gives me absolute nightmares, guys. Thank you for that image. That's going to stick with me on a Sunday evening. Elina, question for you. How have you found these quarterfinals so far? And is anything missing for you?
Good question. I liked them, but not really so much. I mean, if you're used to a Melody Festival, which I'm watching now for like a lot of years, this is a bit boring, but I'm getting used to it. And what was the other question? Because I forgot it.
Who do you want to see next week, or what do you want to see next week from Estonia?
Not an oldie version of Eric Saade, please.
But older version of Eric Saade
next week. I mean, I'm up for that.
So what we actually want in quarterfinal 4 is a dad of Eric Saade. Eric Saade's dad or granddad on stage. Thank you for that. Another great mental image. Gustav, who are your favourites so far? And what do you want to see next week?
My favorite is definitely Elina by miles and miles and miles. But I also like the cowboy guy. I can't remember his name now.
Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan. He was also very good. And how about some good songs next week?
Oh, that burns. That burns. Martin, I want to see Koitun back. I kind of feel like next week that's his week. He's coming back, isn't he? He's got to.
Yeah, he'll probably be one of the hosts for quarterfinal 4, I expect. Because Elina Bourne was on the promo video where they seem to have had all the people who've been hosting it. So I suspect she's going to be hosting rather than performing. It's a bit of a shame. I'd have gone for Stefan and Elina this week, to be quite honest with you. There were 2 standouts. And I'd really like to see Curly from 2017 come back, but I doubt that's going to happen very much. But, if that would be amazing if she was back.
Well, I think we're probably due for the final quarterfinal, at least 1 or 2 ex-Eurovision entrants. So, actually, do you know what? Can I change? Can I ditch Koi? Can I bring in a Maria Louise from 1997 and 1996 as well, just to add?
I think I know another one who possibly will be in next week's will be Ivo Linna, because he seems to be in almost every Eesti Laul that's been around for God knows how long.
Yeah, well, he was Maria Louise's partner in 96. So if we can have Maria Louise back as well, that would be great. Thank you, Martin. Finally, Tom. It feels weird having 3 quarterfinals before Christmas, even before the annual edition of Fickmas. But hey, we're getting used to it, as Elina says.
We are. And do you know what? I think it's more strange because I think normally you have junior Eurovision and then it all starts. Whereas junior Eurovision is actually still to take place as well. I mean, that doesn't take place until the 19th.
Is that still happening?
Yes, it's still happening, Stu.
When is Junior Eurovision happening, Tom?
19th, Stu.
Oh, and will we be doing a show, Tom?
Now, there's a question. Answers on a postcard, and we'll find out. There we go. As for my favourite this week, I think it's Alabama Watchdog.
There you go. A lot of love.
I think I quite liked that. As for who I'd like to see back next week, I had to look up the artist, but I think what we need is Kaya Tam back.
Yes, we do. Bring back Kaya Tam.
You may be wondering, some viewers may be wondering, who is Kaya Tam? Phil and Michelle, this was one of your favourite songs.
Katzen!
Wo sind Sie Katzen?
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yes, we do. Come back, Kaya Tam. All is forgiven. That is your Eesti Laul quarterfinal 3 done. Huge thank you. Thank you, ESC Netherlands. They come back for, Elina's wine. Yeah, if we went for another hour, Elina would quite clearly be on the floor. Huge thank you to the panel. As always, big thanks to Tristan. He's on mute.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Tristan. Big thank you to Martin Palmer from the Let Me Be the One Blogger podcast.
Thank you very much, and see you all again next week for quarterfinal 4.
Yes, looking forward to it. Then we get a little bit of a break, but just by a week. Big thank you to Gustav of Stockholm, of Sweden.
Thank you. I had a blast as always, and now I know that I can do these shows with a bad hair day as well, which is quite good to know.
Nobody ever know.
Well, I know.
Big thank you to Elina from Belgium.
Oh, I loved it, and I love doing shows with Martini Bellini. I don't know what I'm gonna try next week or something. I mean, I love alcohol.
It's absolutely the law to do a show whilst you're half cut. Phil and Michelle, great to see you as always, but especially in your new surroundings. Wishing you a wonderful holiday.
Yeah, we'll be back at home next week.
Yeah, well, it's been good. Thank you again. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
It's our pleasure. Huge thank you to my co-host of 5 songs or 3 songs this week.
I was in the background handling the chat.
Yes, you were. And
so I was still there.
Absolute care and attention as always.
Exactly.
Guys, come back and see us next Sunday, 8 p.m. Central European time, for the quarterfinal 4. Then we're done. No more Estonia for ages. We can all go back to our normal lives, but only for 10 days or so. Because on the 20th, Monday, the 20th of December, a very special Thick show. Happy Thickmas. We will cover all 20 of the songs. And can I just say, for those who haven't listened to them, you are in for a treat. That I am absolutely sure of. Treat. Have a wonderful week. Not long till Christmas, guys. We're getting there. And thank you so much to everyone in the chat room. Really appreciate it. We've still got 200 odd in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining us and watching us around the world. Check out our website, ESC Fan TV. Follow us all over social media. And we will see you back here next Sunday for more of this. Bye-bye.